Or you just say, this is good. This is what we want. We're making progress. This is how we want people to be treated. But
I was doing an interview on a radio show, John Phillips, I think, just moments before I came in here, and I said, it's now getting to the point in California where the homeless might pull up stakes and head to Texas. And then I said, and I mean literally pull up stakes. Like their tents are pitched in every park. They are going to have to pull up stakes. We've now returned to that quaint time in history where people pulled up stakes.
Speaking of quaint time, people have been trying to get me to get into politics, and I was just thinking, I remember on the back of covered wagons, California or bust, right?
Right.
California, you have to cross the or to is and add on ed. California is busted. California is a fucking mess.
Well, there is a conspiracy theory floated by our friend Mark Garagos, which is from the LA Times, or in response to your story, as the LA Times reads it. And I'll let Dawson read the article, but then I'll get to the conspiracy theory.
Is another one I have to suffer through?
You're going to suffer through what I do. And then I'm going to read you a Tom Shales review of Loveline from 1997 after that.
That one's a little more, that one's a little better for you.
Before you get into this, though, let me just be super clear.
Is this a joke?
Hang on, my friend. Not interested. Listen, this is the reason we have homelessness is from a 1965 act that mandated the destruction of the state mental health systems. And in response to that destruction, no one ever made plans for what to do with the patients that came out of the mental health system. They went to the streets, the nursing homes, and the prisons. Mm-hmm. They belong in none of those places. And now they can't go to the prison. Good. They should not go to the prison. I'm being fucking accused of saying I want to criminalize homelessness. Fuck you.
Go, Drew.
I am not interested in that at all. Well, they do not belong in the prisons, but they equally do not belong in nursing homes or the street. They belong in proper environments for care with a continuum of care to restore them to health and productivity, which is not hard to do if you just fucking do it.
Well, we only have $3 billion. So I don't know
$3.5 billion.
$3.5 billion. And I will say this. The reason we have homelessness is for the reasons you cited, but it's also because we have homelessness. We are a society that works cyclically and sort of in trends. So it didn't start at the park that we just bulldozed. It didn't start with 7,500 homeless people. It started with one tent. Somebody kept walking and didn't do anything about it. Then there was another 10, and then there was another 10. It's sort of like, in an esoteric way, it's like transgender. Why is there so much of this going on, or we're hearing so much about it? Because it is. You know what I mean? The more it's out there in the zeitgeist, the more it begats itself, essentially. So that's part of it. Go ahead, Dawson.
Nomination of Dr. Drew for Homeless Commission is pulled after outcry.
Can we stop there? I don't read these articles. You make me suffer through them. You've coached me up not to read any of this BS.
I know, but it's
then I come on your show and you read it to me.
It's good content.
You don't
good
think
pod.
A celebrity doctor
Let's just go back to Pepe Le Pew. It's much, much better.
Nominated to a local homeless commission has been pulled from consideration after community members objected and mounted a hashtag Dump Dr. Drew Twitter campaign, accusing him of promoting policies that criminalize homelessness.
Right. They go celebrity doctor. They don't go local physician.
Or they go so-called
they
doctor.
go so-called doctor, which I like as well.
But by the way, how much clearer can I be that I'm not into that? How much clearer can I be?
Can't be.
Well,
Can't
the
be clear.
same people call you a so-called doctor,
right.
say Dr. Jill Biden.
Right.
So that's all you need to know. Go ahead.
Dr. Barbara Ferrer.
That's right.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to bring this up because I was talking to Mark Garagos about Barbara Ferrer, health county, health whatever. Mm-hmm. He said, not only when she makes these insane proclamations, she should be, if there's a court, she'd be cross-examined, but he said she wouldn't pass for dire. She wouldn't be able to be vetted as an expert.
Right.
If this was a court of law and you said, here's an expert on, and infectious diseases, they'd go, no, she's not.
No. Social work, maybe.
Right. So that's interesting that we have someone who's leading Los Angeles and wouldn't even make it onto a stand as an
Right.
expert. Sorry, go
But
ahead.
quote unquote, Dr. Drew.
Right.
Los Angeles County Supervisor Catherine Barger announced Monday evening that she had withdrawn her nomination for Dr. David Drew Pinsky, more commonly known as Dr. Drew, for the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, a 10-member commission appointed by city and county elected officials. Barger, who represents the 5th District, said she was dismayed that anyone would question, quote, the appointment of a doctor with a passion for addressing these issues when a new voice is clearly needed. She said the nomination and the outcry it generated had become a distraction from important conversations about care for people experiencing homelessness. Quote, we need to face the sad reality of homelessness in Los Angeles. Individuals are dying on our streets from preventable causes due to mental illness and substance abuse, Barger said. I hope we can move past pettiness and instead focus our time and energy on working to solve the hard problems rather than looking for excuses to place blame. Pinsky could not be immediately reached for comment. Did they try?
Yeah. Why would I not talk to them?
Right.
Susan that got into it was like, no effing way. You never talking to them. Blah, 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 blah.
You should just say, sorry, I was treating patients at that time.
Yeah, right.
I think maybe the word immediately is
Yeah.
what they,
Yeah.
we tried once.
Yeah.
We needed to run the story.
Well, I think maybe I'll call. Why don't we call her now?
Ooh, I like that.
Jacqueline Cosgrove.
All right,
That's
give
good
her a
Paul.
call. Yeah. Sorry.
Generally, the County Board of
Do you want the number? Let's
Supervisors
give that out too.
unanimously approves appointments to local boards and commissions at the beginning of its meeting as part of its consent agenda. They are rarely, if ever, seen as controversial. By Monday evening, more than 100 people had submitted public
100
comments
people. That's good. 100 people are going to determine what happens. Oh, Jesus.
asking the supervisors not to approve the nomination. Fewer than 5 people wrote in supporting Pinsky's nomination.
It could be 4.
Quote,
Fewer.
please, for the love of God, do not appoint Dr. Drew to work with the homeless in any capacity. This is a frustrating, pathetic joke. Please treat the unhoused legitimately as human beings.
Yes. I
One
agree with that.
resident wrote.
I agree with that person.
Pinsky, 62, has a current license to practice medicine in California
Oh my God. Wait, now I got to talk to this woman.
and lists his specialties on the California Medical Board's website as internal medicine and psychiatry.
And psychiatry?
You a psychiatrist?
No.
I think so.
He reported to the board attending, he reported to the board attending the University of Southern California's medical school. The celebrity rehab with Dr. Drew physician rose to fame through his nationally syndicated radio show Loveline, which was adapted for MTV and aired in the late 90s with actor and co-host Adam Carolla.
Yeah, he did.
Actor.
The duo regularly doled out sex and relationship advice to their loyal fans.
Loyal fans. Hey, there's a positive.
In recent years, Pinsky honed in on the homelessness crisis, disputing that it was caused by a lack of housing. He argued that it was primarily driven by a significant need for mental health and addiction treatment.
Well, let's just say it's a
Outrageous.
lack of housing. Let's just say it's a lack of housing. We and the homeless situation's horrible in San Francisco. It's horrible in Los Angeles, New York City. The most real estate on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Expensive real estate on the planet.
Okay.
And then, right. And anyone who knows the difference between, renting an apartment in Santa Monica or anywhere on the West Side or even, Encino, Studio City or whatever, it's exquisitely expensive. So what would prevent just regular folk? Like if I were 22 and you were providing me housing instead of having 3 roommates in a 1-bedroom apartment, I'd just go, fuck it, man. I'm just going to be homeless. Like
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and pull that bakery ticket and sign myself up for a place. Like,
Save yourself a couple grand a month.
how many more people would come here if it was just like, all right, we're going to start building housing and we're going to start creating housing and we're going to do that and all that goes along with it. How many people from around the country would just show up and go, fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm going to California.
When we talked about the beachfront property they're building, I'll take one.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
All right. Sorry, Dawson.
LA homeless rights advocates have pointed out that Pinsky has regularly over-reported on his show and in public appearances that the number of homeless people who have a mental illness or substance over-reported on his show and in public appearances the number of homeless people who have a mental illness or substance use disorder.
Where did I get that data from? Oh, wait, UCLA. 78% is their number. And by the way, I don't know if that's the right number or not. I don't care if it's 5%. That's thousands of people that are dying and need help.
Is that even a knowable number, honestly? Because the population you're surveying is inherently an
Transients.
unreliable
Yeah.
narrator.